Hey y'all, I'm back with another gardening video, and in this one I'm going to teach you the 4-7-8 mindful meditation technique from the Modern Day Witch 2024 planner. Taking just several minutes a day to hit a spiritual pause button can help give you a new perspective, especially if you're feeling particularly emotional or stressed. For many witches, meditation is like taking a step outside of the situation where they can escape to their spiritual place. So when they're ready to come back to spellcasting, they are doing so with a refreshed mind. Here is a great exercise to try. Gradually breathe in through your nose on the count of 4. Then hold your breath for the count of 7. Slowly breathe out through the mouth on the count of 8. Repeat this cycle, concentrating the entire time on your breathing. Notice that when you inhale, your breath is cooler, and as you exhale, it gets warmer. Your mind might start to meander, and you might start thinking of everyday issues or problems. If this happens, envision those intruding thoughts being set aside and being addressed at another time. After a while, you may start to feel floaty. This is a prelude to astral projection and is nothing to worry about. What do you feel? Can you hear voices in your head? What might they be telling you? Some people report that they hear ethereal music or bells ringing in the distance. Concentrate on the sounds and listen. Often, visions will appear behind closed eyes, which you might later want to record in your journal. Some people have even described seeing snippets of their past lives during this type of meditation. Now, this meditation is great for helping you with spellcasting, but also helping you figure out what you want to manifest. And right now, there's a Lionsgate portal happening, and it is going to reach its peak on Thursday the 8th. So, doing this meditation might help clear your mind in order for you to have a clear idea of what you want to manifest. And it can help you manifest those things with greater intention. So, try it out. See if it works for you. It doesn't hurt to try, right? So let me know in the comments if this helped. And let me know if your manifestations came to fruition.
2,000 years later.
After filling up the containers with dirt, I filled this container up with Tennessee State wildflowers. I recommend you use wildflowers that are native to your state and environment. I do not suggest using invasive plants. Those are harmful to the environment and does not help Mama Gaia. I would rather have pollinators be pollinating with native plants in my area. That way, when they fly off and drop seeds and whatnot, they're not going to invade the natural environment. They're just going to help the environment that's already here, as well as it's a conservation thing. Now, I do suggest that you plant flowers within your vegetable gardens or near them, and fruits, because they do produce flowers as well. I mean, vegetables do too. They all help pollinate your garden. So it's wise to have some form of just even flowers, or just a bush or a fruit tree, or even a strawberry bush, because the first year it needs to establish before it actually produces fruit. So it'll just produce flowers, and that helps your garden sustain and grow and fertilize itself. Plus, when you do that and you have bees and wasps climbing over your vegetables or your herbs, like I've planted here is a bunch of basil, they will also drop seeds, and sometimes you will have little volunteer flowers be growing with your herbs and your veggies, and it's kind of cute to see that splash of color in there. And it's really cool that nature can do that. I am very big on protecting the environment and doing as much good for it as you can, as well as companion planting. I think that's very smart as well, because it helps keep pests down from eating your plants and herbs, and it gives them vital nutrients. It changes the soil so that they actually can grow stronger, withstand the heat and the elements, and withstand storms and whatnot. Plus, it can add such a beautiful variety in your garden. And I love planting marigolds with a lot of things because they can be planted with a lot of things, and they actually help strengthen a lot of your vegetables. Also, I learned that you can grow strawberries with garlic. The strawberries help shade the garlic so the garlic doesn't burn out because they do not like the heat very much. They shrivel up and die. And the garlic helps the strawberries have no spider mites and reduce the pests that are in the soil. Now with this basil, I planted mint because mint can be planted with it, but also I planted peppers because peppers can be planted with them as well. And they're actually all thriving. If anything, the basil and the mint kind of took over, but thankfully my peppers still made it and they're very strong and they have been producing peppers. They are so delicious. They're the non-spicy version of the chili pepper. Excuse me, I said the wrong pepper. They are the non-spicy version of the chipotle pepper, which they do make non-spicy hybrids of the spicy peppers in case you cannot handle spicy, which I love the taste of spicy, but my guts, however, do not like spicy very much. So I try and get the non-spicy because at least it still has the flavor of the pepper, just without the spice. Now, I did end up planting a lot of basil, like 5 different varieties of basil, and I haven't used all of it, and it kind of took over my garden. But I love it because it smells so fragrant, it's so delicious, and I love using the different types of basil, like Italian regular basil is just, tastes like basil, right? But purple basil is a little spicy, got a little zest to it, and so does Thai basil, but that one's a little different than the purple basil. It's like the purple basil got a little bit more bite to it, but the Thai basil's got like more subtle and flavorful bite to it. And I haven't tried the holly basil yet, and the cinnamon basil. It's like the Thai and purple basil had a baby with that one. I don't know. It tastes so good, and it'll change how your food tastes depending on what other seasonings you mix with it, but it blends in so beautifully. Also, fun fact, if you live in the South and you have a cockroach problem, basil is a good repellent for them because they do not like the smell of basil. And I have put some by my front door because every time it storms, they just want to hang out in my house, and I'm like, no, my house is not your house. Anyways, I am done with my love for basil rant. Now I will leave you with another gem as you watch me play with dirt and plants once again. And this one is from The Language of Letting Go by Melody Beattie. Solving problems. Problems are made to be solved. Some of us spend more time reacting to the fact that we have a problem than we do solving the problem. Why is this happening to me? Isn't life awful? How come this had to happen? Oh dear, this is terrible. Why is God, the universe, an agency, a person, or life picking on me? Problems are inevitable. Some problems can be anticipated, some are surprises. But the idea that problems occur regularly need never be a surprise. The good news is that for every problem, there's a solution. Sometimes the solution is immediate, sometimes it takes a while to discover, sometimes the solution involves letting go. Sometimes the problem is ours to solve, sometimes it isn't. Sometimes there's something we can clearly do to solve the problem. Other times we need to struggle, flounder, do our part, then trust our higher power for help. Sometimes the problem is just part of life. Sometimes the problem is important because we are learning something through the problem and its solution. Sometimes problems end up working out for good in our life. It gets us headed in the direction that is superior to one we may otherwise have taken. Sometimes problems just are. Sometimes they are a warning sign that we are on the wrong track. We can learn to accept problems as an inevitable part of life. We can learn to solve problems. We can learn to trust our ability to solve problems. We can learn to identify which problems are trying to lead us in a new direction and which simply ask for solving. We can learn to focus on the situation rather than on the problem and maintain a positive attitude toward life and the inevitable flow of problems and solutions. Today, I will learn to trust solutions rather than be victimized by problems. I will not use problems to prove I am helpless, picked on, or martyred. I will not point to my problems to prove how awful life is. I will learn to trust the flow of problems and solutions. God, help me solve the problems I can solve today. Help me let go of the rest. Help me believe in my ability to tackle and solve problems. Help me trust the flow. For each problem, there is a solution. Now that's a beautiful passage for today, and I hope you can take that with you, because no matter how big the problem seems to be or how impossible it may seem to solve, there is always a way. And you may not know the answer right away. It may take time, but give yourself grace and just breathe, because the solution will come. No problem lasts forever unless you let it. You got this, and I believe in you, because guess what? You're a tough cookie. Now in this section, I was replanting some things because I realized that they didn't have enough dirt or space to grow, and I didn't want them to just die or go bad. I really did want to actually get potatoes this year, and I think I'm achieving that pretty well, actually. Unfortunately, these onions that I replanted didn't end up making it, which is okay. It's okay. There's always next year or the fall. I'm gonna wait until it's less hot. Hopefully we have a chill fall this year. That'd be pretty nice. But, I tried. And that's half the battle, is trying. Also keep in mind, whenever you start gardening, you will always, every year, run into different problems and different ways of actually making it work. So, yeah, that passage kind of works for this video, because I ran into a lot of interesting problems this garden season, but also found interesting solutions. So, yeah, just be open to it, and you'll be surprised what you find. Now in this section, you will watch me plant all of these radishes in this tiny bed right here. And future me is letting you know that that was not the brightest idea. Most of them didn't turn into radishes. They just turned into greens and roots. But they were delicious to eat, so that's fine with me, because you can eat the whole part of a radish, by the way. Yeah, so future me suggests is, if you're going to use these beds, to only do maybe 3 rows and do radishes that way. I think it would have worked out better if I spread them amongst multiple containers instead of just packing them in the one. I digress. The next passage I'm going to read is from A Little Bit of Angels by Elaine, Clayton. I would also like to remind you to subscribe, hit the bell if you like these videos and, want more. Guardian angels urge forgiveness. Forgiveness plays a huge part in giving your angels a break. How can we forgive someone who got us fired, stole from us, took someone or something we love away from us, destroyed our way of life, or betrayed us? If we see them the way the angels see them, Another sensation urges, and it is mercy for the perpetrator. It may well be that the angels are working through the perpetrators to set you free. You've heard them say, "What humankind uses for evil, God uses for good." Evil exists, and we do not have to tolerate it or condone it, and should do what we can to stop it with angelic assistance. But not forgiving can cause us suffering, which can be another form of evil and creates loss and spiritual dehydration. The perpetrators creating victimhood in you may, without their knowing it, through their negative traits and choices, be breaking your life open so that you can live to the fullest. Angels may witness the crimes and put an equal amount of love in its place in ways that should become evident, whether through us or others by unexpected outcomes. Consider it every time you face adversity. Stop and ponder, is an angel at work here for me? And if you ask, it will make it even more so an angelic life experience. Not to forget that at times we are perpetrators to someone else. Would we hope for mercy so that we could be forgiven for ways we may have injured someone? We can make this job for our angels easier if we notice them working in our lives through our appreciation of nature and others in our midst, take their presence and advice seriously, but also with mirthful hearts, have a sense of humor, spend time and energy purposefully developing our creative, intuitive intelligence and empathy, acts of kindness and care. Remember these ways in which angels send us clues and cues, synchronistic events, small and large. For example, I was texting a friend while a movie was on. I texted the word plenty at the exact moment it was said by a character in the movie, and a few seconds later I texted the word forever, also at the exact same time the same character in the movie said forever. I do not know all that may signify. I just know that I experience a steady flow of coincidental events that happen when I am in a good, open, and honest place with myself. I feel a bright feeling of harmony when these things happen. Journal dreams so that angel messages can be recorded, pondered, acknowledged, read, and reread. Now, I think that passage works perfectly with the solving problems passage, because I think they go hand in hand. I think a lot of problems we end up having in life is because we aren't willing to forgive things that has happened to us, and then that can create more problems down the road. Not saying that's every problem, I'm just saying it might play a factor. I also resonated with this passage because I ended up having a lot of weird dreams last night, feeling like people were just pulling on my energy, needing my attention constantly, and I think it was really angels trying to tell me I need to let go of a lot of things that I have been holding on. Now, those dreams ended up feeling very overwhelming, because it just felt like I was being stretched thin for no reason. And there was nothing going on in my life that's really been that stressful. Mostly just normal health stuff. But I think what they were trying to show me is that all of these things are still on your mind and plaguing your energy because you haven't fully let go of them. You haven't released them properly. You've released portions of them, but not fully. And so I think they intended for that to be intense, an intense experience, for me to understand that, hey, this needs to happen in order for you to feel more free and get back to your creative side, because I've been feeling pretty tapped creatively and pretty drained in that way, which hasn't been as fun because I like making videos and I like being creative because I got a lot of things going on in my head, and sometimes it's just nice. It helps me get it out of there, you know. And sometimes you just need that hey, you need to get this out, you know? Now, with my team, I've given them permission to kind of smack me in the face or make it an unpleasant experience so that I get it through my stubbornness that this needs to be addressed, because I am very stubborn sometimes. And they know this. So I gave them full permission to, hey, if I'm not listening and I'm not doing the proper things, please smack me and be like, hey, this is what you need to do, and this is how you're doing it, or this is a way to do it, and show me different paths. And thankfully, they've been pretty clear with dreams, because they do give you messages through visions and pictures in a way, because they don't really speak to you in your dreams. They just show you things, and it's kind of your job to decode what they're trying to say. And you can ask them to be as clear as possible if you need that, and they will listen, because they're here to help you. They're not here to hurt you or inhibit you in any way, because no, they are here to help us all. They want to see us all succeed, and do the things that we said we were going to do in our contracts, our soul contracts. Now, all that being said, you can always ask them to help you solve problems, or at least help you find a solution to a problem, or show you different solutions to a problem. That way you can choose which one suits you or feels right in that moment to do, because they're not going to interfere with your free will. The only way they can is if you surrender. Now, if you do that, they're gonna catapult you places. And if you don't want to do that, you just ask them, to show you the different paths, and they will. They're here to help. They're just another tool in your spiritual toolbox. And it's not just angels either. Your ancestors are there to help as well. They help you with solutions to problems, or they bring up problems that they weren't able to solve, that are like, hey, this still needs to be addressed, because we do carry things from ancestors, from past lives, into this life that we may not have resolved in the last one. And they do it all through love, because the love frequency is very healing, and it brings a lot of things to you, great things to you. It's connected to abundance as well. It's a high vibrational energy. That's why in a lot of spiritual journeys, they always urge you do chakra work and unblock your chakras, because a lot of times the divine works with your heart chakra, because that's where the love frequency flows through. And that is the easiest and best place for all that to flow through. And if it's blocked, you're going to have a harder time. Now, you can also ask your angels and guides and ancestors to help you do energy work and help you unblock chakras as well, because again, they're here to help you. They want to see you succeed. They never want to see you fail. The only people that ever want to see you fail are people that are lower vibrational and jealous of what you are able to succeed, because they feel like they can't do it for themselves, mostly because they don't want to do the work. And that is because healing takes a lot of work, and takes a lot of energy, and a lot of introspection, and a lot of accepting tough things. And part of that is accepting what has happened in the past was in the past, and now we have to focus on moving forward and how to heal that, as well as accepting the fact that a lot of times we are the problem. Because there's two sides to every coin. It's not one-sided. We are on this planet to learn and to grow and to change. And really what we do for each other is we reflect what we need to heal within ourselves. Each interaction you have with a person is a reflection of either what you're doing right or what you still need to work on within yourself. Now, if you've done that introspection and it's not anything that you need to work on, then it's just projection of the other person. But usually there is some sort of aspect of reflection of both parties. Because healing is your whole life. you're never done doing it because you're never done experiencing life. So you will always experience things that may be tragic or beautiful. You know, there's a polarity to everything. It's the duality of this planet, the yin and the yang, the masculine, the feminine, the light, the shadow, whatever you want to call it. It's the duality. We have to master that duality. And once we hit a high enough vibration and we've healed from our past and let go of our ego and just learn to experience life and enjoy life, then nothing can really bother us. And what people say to us is just a reflection of themselves. And we can help them. We can. But we can only help them as much as they let us. We can't force anything because we all have to do it on our own. Basically, we can offer to help people, but they have to be willing to accept that help. And if they're not willing or ready, then they're not at that point in their journey for healing. And that's okay, because everyone's on their own path, and everyone's path looks different. Some is zigzaggy, some is wavy. None of it's straight. Some is bumpy, you know? We all go on twists and turns. That's the roller coaster of life. And life's always going to happen. It's just, how are you going to handle what life throws at you? Are you going to freak out and, lash out at people and accuse everybody else as it's their fault for shit going wrong? Or are you going to take that as well, that happened, that was interesting. Is it something that I need to learn? Is there something here that I need to heal from? Or is this just part of just life that I'm experiencing? And once we start doing that, our whole perspective changes. Our whole view of life changes. And we're able to see the beauty. We're able to experience things more fully, more presently. We're not hiding anymore. And we're also able to see people's true intentions and their hurt and try and help them. Because I think spreading kindness goes a lot farther than trying to push your own misery on other people because they're happy. It's okay to feel your feelings. It's not okay to force those feelings on other people. So on those tough days of heavy feelings, just be. Just exist. Just experience them and let them go. You'll feel a lot more peaceful if you do that. Because hurting people is never helpful. And this society needs less of that. We need more love and kindness in this world. Those are my words of wisdom for the day and for this video. I hope you find it helpful. And I hope that you have a glorious, beautiful day. Go do something new. Go do something you used to do that you enjoy. Or just be. Just be present. You can even watch birds, listen to nature, listen to the world around you if you need to. Drink a cup of coffee while you're sitting on the porch. And just watch the birds fly by. And until next time, peace.